My sisters and brothers, you know there are moments in life when you hear something, just a few words, and it feels like the speaker is talking directly to you, like it was tailor-made for your situation, your thoughts, your struggle. And in that moment, it's not just a voice you're hearing, it's a message from Allah. Because when Allah wants to guide a heart, He doesn't always send a miracle or a major event. Sometimes He sends a sentence, a verse, a speech, a line that cuts deep. That's the beauty of divine mercy. It finds you in the simplest forms, yet it shakes you to your core. Many times we scroll through dozens of videos, hear hundreds of voices, but suddenly one message stops you. You feel your chest tighten, your eyes well up, and for a few seconds the world fades. That's not the speaker. That's not the internet. That's not just emotion. That is Allah turning your attention to something your soul was desperate to hear. You'd realize it at first, but that very message might be your turning point, a wake-up call directly from your Creator. One meant to pull you from distraction, from heedlessness, from spiritual sleep. This is why reminders are so powerful. They seem small, but they echo in the soul. You may hear something that no one around you reacts to, but it shatters you inside. That's Allah speaking through the reminder to reach you. And if you've ever felt like, how did they know what I'm going through? Understand that it's not them. It's the one who created your heart sending you exactly what it needed to hear. When such words find you, they're not random. They're a gift, a lifeline, a whisper from your Lord saying, come back before it's too late. Sometimes the words that hit you the hardest come at the most unexpected times. Maybe you're just scrolling, sitting in traffic, walking alone, or even doing something as ordinary as washing dishes. And suddenly you hear a message that pierces right through your heart. And in that moment you pause. You feel exposed, like someone just described your exact condition, your hidden pain, your silent cries. That's not a coincidence. It's not just timing, that's Allah's precision. He knew the exact second your heart would be soft enough, broken enough, or empty enough to finally listen. And He made sure you heard what you needed right then. The timing of words that reach the soul is never random. You might have heard that same message before 100 times, but it never moved you. It never made you stop. But now it feels like a thunderclap. That's because your heart is in a different place. And Allah, in His mercy, waits for the right moment. Not when you think you're ready, but when your heart is ready to absorb, reflect, and begin to change. It could be after a heartbreak, after a failure, after a sin, or in the middle of loneliness. That's when He sends something subtle, something quiet, but powerful enough to shake you awake. It's proof that Allah never gives up on you, that He hasn't turned away. Even when you drift far, even when you drown in distractions, He still arranges the right words, the right voice, the right moment to remind you of who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. These wake-up calls are timed with divine wisdom. They come when your soul is silently crying out for guidance, even if your tongue hasn't uttered a word. When that moment comes, don't ignore it. That might be your invitation back to light, back to peace, back to Him. One of the most misunderstood forms of love is when Allah sends you a message that makes you uncomfortable. It challenges you, confronts your habits, or forces you to reflect on your mistakes. And yet, this discomfort isn't cruelty, it's love in disguise. When Allah wants good for a person, He doesn't always make the journey smooth. Sometimes He sends a voice, a reminder, a speech that unsettles your heart, not to shame you, but to save you. Because if the reminder was always soft, always easy to hear, would we ever really wake up? There are times when you hear a message, and instead of feeling inspired, you feel exposed. It's like someone is holding up a mirror, and suddenly you see your flaws, your neglect, your distance from Allah. That moment can sting, but know this: pain with purpose is better than comfort in heedlessness. That sting means your heart is still responsive. It means Allah hasn't sealed it. He's shaking it, not to break it, but to soften it. These are moments of divine mercy. A loving reminder disguised as a warning. It's easy to take advice when it praises us, when it feels good. But true transformation begins when you hear something that makes you pause and say, I needed to hear that even if it hurt. It's a sign of Allah's love. He is turning you away from something harmful, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Sometimes the reminder says, a let go, or a repent, or a turn back. And while it might feel like a burden in that moment, it's actually a rope being thrown to a soul that's drifting too far. So don't mistake correction for condemnation. Don't confuse discomfort with rejection. Sometimes the hardest words to hear are the ones wrapped in the deepest love from the one who wants to save you before it's too late. When a reminder hits you so deeply that it stirs something inside, when your chest feels tight, your eyes begin to well up, and you don't even know why. It's not just emotion. It's your heart responding. It's a sign that despite the noise, despite the sins, despite the distance you might have from Allah, your heart is still alive. And that's a gift. Because in a world full of distractions, temptations, and spiritual numbness, a heart that still feels is a heart that can still return. A heart that is moved by truth is one that Allah hasn't abandoned. He's still calling you, still reaching out to you through the words that find you when you least expect them. There's a reason why certain reminders make you uncomfortable, why they make you cry, or make you want to change something in your life. It's not goodness. It's not guilt for the sake of guilt. It's the soul remembering its purpose. It's the heart recognizing the voice of truth. Because no matter how far we drift, deep down, the soul knows where it belongs. And when Allah sends a message that reaches your core, your tears, your silence, your reflection, those are not signs of despair. They're signs of life. They're signs that something inside you is waking up again. Many people hear powerful reminders, but they don't feel anything. Their hearts have become hard, distracted, closed off. So when you do feel something, hold on to it. Don't brush it off. That reaction is not something you created. It's something Allah placed within you with chance. A spark. A moment that could grow into something beautiful if you respond to it with sincerity. So don't let that feeling fade without action. A heart that cries is a heart that can still be cleansed. And that's a mercy you should never take lightly. Every major transformation begins with a moment. Just one realization, one sentence, one reminder that opens the heart and makes you pause. It doesn't take an entire book or 1,000 speeches to bring change. Sometimes it's a single moment of clarity that shifts everything, and you don't always see it coming. It could be while listening to someone speak, or while reflecting in silence, or even when you're at your lowest point. Suddenly something clicks. You realize you can't keep living like this. You can't keep running. And that awareness, that awakening, that's the beginning of something powerful. This is the beauty of Allah's mercy. He doesn't demand perfection from you all at once. He gives you signs. He sends you messages. And when He wants to bring you back, He creates a moment that touches you so deeply, you can't ignore it. That moment might not change your entire life overnight, but it plants a seed. And if you nurture that seed with sincerity, prayer, and effort, it grows, it turns into a new mindset, a better version of you, and ultimately a heart that longs to be close to its Creator again. It could start with something as small as hearing a verse that shakes you, or realizing how distant you've become. That pain that's stirring inside, that's not a punishment. That's an invitation. Allah is showing you through that moment that He still wants good for you. He still believes in your potential to return, no matter how far you've gone. He's not waiting for you to become perfect. He's waiting for you to take that first honest step. So when that moment comes, don't let it slip away. Because sometimes all it takes is one reminder to awaken the soul, and one step to begin the return. There's something important you need to understand. When a message keeps appearing in your life, when a certain reminder keeps reaching you from different places, it's not random. It's not a coincidence. That's Allah speaking to you through repetition. He's sending signs over and over because He knows your heart is still reachable. The reminders you keep hearing are not accidental. They are personalized messages from your Lord. But here's the thing. If you keep ignoring them, if you keep brushing them off, one day you might stop hearing them altogether. And that silence is scarier than anything. Allah gives us multiple chances. He gives us gentle nudges, quiet wake-up calls, soft pushes in the right direction. And when we ignore those, He still sends more. Through a video, a friend, a speech, or a verse you randomly come across, He surrounds you with signs, hoping that something will make you stop and think. But if you continue to turn away, eventually the heart hardens. Not because Allah turned away from you, but because you turned away from Him one too many times. And that's why it's so important to respond when something reaches you deeply. When a reminder shakes you, don't silence it with distractions. Don't bury it under entertainment or excuses. That's a gift. A direct call from the most merciful telling you, I come back. You're still welcome. You're still loved. The worst thing you can do is hear a call from Allah and pretend it didn't happen. Because if Allah is still sending you signs, it means He still wants you close. He still believes in your return. And if you hear this message now, don't ignore it, because it might be the last gentle call before the silence.